Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and we've got more price predictions and market predictions with my friend SL369. You guys can find her on her Patreon. We'll have more information about that. And we have our special guest, Jill Jardin. She's a Vedic astrologer, as well as has a lot of psychic gifts, as well as a lot of studies and masteries in psychology and lots of other things. We'll go over some of that as we do our introductions, but I'm going to look at Bitcoin and some other coins and what in the world is going on at the market. So we'll be right back. Stick with us, give this a like, and share this video. Welcome back, everybody that's watching. Thanks for watching us. And SL and Jill, thanks so much for joining us. We're glad to have you both here. SL, how have things been going? We know you've been gone for a while, and glad to have you back. And did you have a great rest?
Thank you for having me here today. I went to California and Sedona for in total 3 weeks. It was amazing. I had a good time in Sedona. I'd love to come back there.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you got refreshed and that you're back here and giving us more insight. And so I'm excited to see what your guides have been telling you for sure. And Jill, you look beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us again. We really enjoyed our last video with you. And I saw you have the Bitcoin astrology chart that you're excited to talk to us about. And we know we recently had another run up. Everyone got really excited and then a little dive down. So we're curious to see what your thoughts are on that. SL has a lot of questions from her Patreon group. And so I guess, SL, should we jump right into some of those questions about crypto and the market?
I think we can talk a little bit about Bitcoin right now.
Okay.
I can talk, you can talk, so you have a lot of information as well.
Okay, I want to thank you, Lisa and SL, for inviting me back on your show. And I wanted to thank all your listeners, SL, who did get readings with me after the last show. I really felt it an honor and a privilege to do readings for this group. And I'm really excited about the consciousness of people who are in your group as well, SL. So thanks again for another opportunity. And I just want to make a slight correction to my introduction. I'm primarily a Western astrologer. And as I look at the charts today, we will use the Western astrology system to make some predictions. I am also a Vedic astrologer, but my actual many years, 30 plus years of doing astrological professional consultations has been with the Western astrology that most people in our country are familiar with. So thank you for that.
Okay, sorry about that. I remembered our first introduction and that you had so much training and history in and multiple degrees. And to be honest, I should have had a list
no worries
in front of me. So thank you for correcting me on that.
The information will speak for itself. We don't need the whole bio trotted out again. But no, and if people have readings, the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. So thank you for all that.
Yeah, absolutely. So where, let's see, with what's going on, did you see that in the chart of Bitcoin, this recent kind of burst? Was that in that astrological chart?
Yeah, so there's a couple things I want to say of the Bitcoin chart and how it's being activated in time. And I'm just going to show our listeners a little visual. This is on the inside is the Bitcoin. And even if you don't know astrology, if you look at that outer chart, like right there, you can see there's some activity from the planets Pluto, the first little red one over there. Oh, right there. It's Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune. So we've got basically 4 outer planets, 4 major movers affecting the Bitcoin chart. And again, you don't even have to know anything about astrology, but you can look at that little quadrant Okay. And so what is the quadrant where the activities are? It's actually the 8th house of Bitcoin right here, which is the monies that are made. It's a money. And then we have things to do with the international is the next circle that's active. So I want to say a couple things about this. So some of the, a lot is going on in the Bitcoin natal chart being affected by where the planets are now, but there's also a lot going on in the collective with the collective consciousness. And so I just want to share my theory that I have kind of solidified, especially after doing readings for a lot of people in SL's group. I definitely feel that crypto in general is very different from regular currencies because of the fact that it's very influenced by consciousness, unlike regular currency systems, which are very much manipulated by other factors. Yes, Bitcoin and other currencies are being manipulated too by outside forces, but very interesting. And we're going to talk about this, Lisa, more in your show about how consciousness can shift outcomes and how if a group of people are thinking, this is a time of lack, we are losing our investments, and they really energize that, we're going to see that outcome. Now, what I would suggest to people to do right now, and we'll do a little experiment and see if we can turn around Bitcoin's fall into beginning to climb back, is that if we align with consciousness and we visualize and we see Bitcoin coming back up from the bottom and starting to rise. And I have to say, I've done this experiment with groups in person to change weather patterns, not only where I live, but also in other parts of the world and the country. So this consciousness of like-minded groups affecting things such as the weather and even the crypto markets can happen. And I invite you to ponder on that. Now, that being said, let's talk about what's really happening right now so I looked at the outer planets that are responsible for this, okay? In astrology, some planets that would rule markets are the planet Jupiter, which has to do with the collective, and that's our prosperity. It's also growth, expansion. So we like to look where Jupiter's moving. We also like to see where Saturn is moving. Now, Saturn is the restrictive principle. So when you start having a decline in Bitcoin or another crypto, we're dealing with the Saturn principle being really strong, which it is. So Saturn has been affecting the chart of Bitcoin by being retrograde, okay? And it's coming back over its north node, which is going to happen in August, okay? And it's going to start kicking in around the middle of August, more like the 20th. 22nd, 23rd. So it's going retrograde, which means we're still in like a backward motion, but it's going to kick off a point in the chart of Bitcoin that has to do with its future. So translating out of astrological speak, this is going to be a trigger. This will be a trigger. See, we always look at the planets and see how they trigger something in the chart, whether it's a business, a company, a person, we look to see. So we're going to have a trigger point around the 20th of August, which also coincides with a huge full moon on the 22nd of August, which is going to light up also the Venus of Bitcoin is in Aquarius. And my theory about crypto being very Aquarian ruled is actually boosted by the chart of Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin was founded on January 3rd, 2009, according to this chart. And it's a Capricorn company, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4 planets in the sign Aquarius, including Mercury, which rules markets and rules communications and rules the messaging, and then Venus, the planet of luck and wealth. So the fact that there's going to be a full moon, yes, it is going to go down further in August. Let's just say, yes, it is going to go down further, but we're going to see it start coming back up, okay? And again, there's a full moon on the natal Venus of Bitcoin chart, which is going to start bringing everything back, Okay, so yes, it's not rallying back right away. We're going to start seeing some things. There's a possibility around the 8th of August, which is actually a very esoteric day. It's called the Lion's Gate 8/8,
Yes.
which happens every year. But this year it's also on a new moon, which is going to totally rally, start the process. But we won't see, it won't totally start coming. It will still be going until about the middle of the month. So I hope that answers the question. The other thing we need to be aware of is that the planet Jupiter, which is a big expander, and it's also a lucky planet, is also going to be coming over the natal Venus of the Bitcoin chart in the late degrees Aquarius around that same time, the 20th through the end of August. So I see this as a big shift time when things start changing direction, start picking up, and then moving that way throughout the fall as Jupiter continues to trigger the Venus, the luck and the abundance in the chart of Bitcoin. And we've got Saturn getting ready. Okay, some other key dates I want to share with your listeners. So Saturn went retrograde, and maybe SL, you can pipe in on this and kind of give us a little. So there were two astrological indicators of the retrograde or of the market starting to fall. One was May 23rd, 2021, when Saturn went retrograde, and the other one preceded that by a month on April 26, 2021, when Pluto went retrograde. SL, what do you have to say about those dates if you want to pipe in? May 23rd and April 26th. Well, so I did them in wrong order. April 26th was it was also the day of a full moon affecting the sun was in Taurus and the moon was in Scorpio, which are the money signs, Scorpio and Taurus. Whenever we have big astrological events in the sign of Taurus and Scorpio, we're going to see financial and economic outcome, such as currencies. So what do you have? You're going to look at the Bitcoin chart for April 26, which was a trigger date. Okay. And then another trigger date occurred about a month later on May 23rd, which also was coinciding with a full moon on the 26th. So these two trigger dates. Now, the good news, I'll let you look at that chart, and I'll keep telling people. So if that was the beginning of a pretty pronounced down cycle, well, when is that going to end? Interesting enough, when these planets go direct, meaning out of retrograde motion, those are also trigger dates when these markets could pick up. And guess what? And I think they're going to be really boosting the crypto market and Bitcoin specifically in October. Okay, so we talk about August, the end of August, beginning an upward motion, and then continuing maybe slowly through September. But then we're going to see some big booms in October. Okay, so Pluto goes direct October 6th.
You're muted.
SL.
I think your mic is muted, Jill.
Oh, no, it's not.
No, my mic is not muted. I unmute myself now.
Okay, yes. Can you say something about the dates, SL?
So on the May,
What happened?
Lisa, can you hear me?
Something happened. No. Why can I not hear?
Okay, SL?
You guys
Yeah,
can hear me.
I can hear you,
I
Jill.
can't hear
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, SL.
I'm so
Lisa,
sorry,
can you
guys.
hear?
SL, can you hear Jill?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let me switch earpods. Sorry,
In the
guys.
meantime, when we get SL live, I'm going to give you the, moment. So October 6th, Pluto goes direct. So we're going to see a big boost. And October 10th is when Saturn. So that week of, the 6th through like the 13th, we should see a major rally. And that will continue, I believe, through the month of October because of the fact when planets, think of it like, your car's been retrograde, your car's been in reverse as you back out. And then, it hangs out in neutral. Let's say if you're riding the old stick shift kind of cars, you got to go into neutral. So the neutral period would probably be in early October where what's going to happen late September, early October. And it's also during the sign Libra, which is notoriously up and down time. It's the scales until the balance is found. So we're going to have perhaps at the end of September, early October, still a little bit, it's in neutral, right? It's not going down. It's not making big leaps and bounds. And then all of a sudden we shift gears and we go into first, second, third. And if we have a really nice sports car, we're going to really get those gears up. And that's how I feel Bitcoin and the crypto market is going. It's going to be like first gear. Okay, so we might be in first gear, let's say October 10th through the 15th. Then we go into second gear the third week, fourth gear. We're up in fifth gear, I believe, by the end of October into early November, which again, that I think is the time when it's like, okay, we're reaching fifth gear. We can't go much higher. So that's my prediction with the astrology indicating the market and also the Bitcoin chart, which I can talk a little bit more about too. But SL, let's hear your input here.
So on May 23rd, the market went down from I think $36,000 to $34,000.
Okay.
And then April 26th.
Yes.
Let me go back to my chart.
That was the 25th. It dropped down to 48, 9,881.41. So the 26th, that was like, if I can get to move it just the tiniest bit and see if I can get to the 26th. No, I jump over to the.
Yeah, right there, 33,000, 33.9.
So, but they weren't big drops, huh? I mean, what are those big, do you have the dates of those big ones? Because we can see what it was, but that was a downward cycle, or it was still kind of up and down, it looks like.
Those are two big downs right before.
Okay, so the astrology concurs with that. And then the big dip was when? I see there's a really big dip. What date was that?
Lisa, right there. I cannot see the cursor. Yeah,
isn't
right.
It like this?
Go up a lot. 50,000. Yeah, 50,000. And then there's another one.
Like then this one is
yes.
What you're.
What's
that? That's that May 23rd right that you were talking about.
That's May 23rd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo! Ching, 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 ching. So astrology does predict the outcome. You know how to look for the right things. Thank you for that. That was a beautiful demonstration. So then let's look at some times when I've predicted ups. Back, the most recent one I can remember was February 11th for a colleague of yours, SL. I said that February 11th would be a big rally day for Bitcoin and crypto. Is that correct? Was it? Yeah, it looks like one of the peaks was close.
47,008.
And then kind of continued climbing from that point on till the 23rd.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was pretty much in alignment with what I had predicted to several people, I believe including USL in January, about February, and then the rally continuing through May. So, and again, my correlate too, something that I think I mentioned in the last show, but it's worth reiterating, that because I've sort of come up with the theory, again, it's a theory, other people who are astrologers can please, pipe in and give feedback on that. But I do believe that Bitcoin, being the first major crypto that went of public, awareness. I mean, there's probably other ones, but the big one incarnated and is 3 planets in Capricorn, which means it's going to integrate into the, it is going to be accepted. It's got actually 4 planets in Capricorn, which we'll talk about, which means it will integrate into the existing society, which we're seeing it making its way through, being more and more accepted by the collective awareness and collective, although at this point, as I said, the people who are very into it seem to be more Bitcoin. And like, I'm using Bitcoin too as the pioneer of crypto. Does that sound right to you, SL, to use a Bitcoin chart as like the pioneer of the cryptocurrency?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my thought on it too, that it is kind of the pioneer, and it has that pioneering energy in its natal chart with 4 planets in Aquarius. Okay. But it is a Capricornian, 4 planets in Capricorn. So it is a bridge. It's a bridge. It's a bridge between what was the existing currency and in the existing society as it was incorporated, as it incarnated in 2009, and it's bridging us into a new paradigm of currency that will be coming. My prediction is from 2022 onward, 2024 being a pivotal year when Pluto, which has been in Capricorn for the last since 2011, 2009 actually. I'm sorry, yeah, it was in its very first degree in 2009 when Bitcoin was incarnated. So it's going to go into another sign, Aquarius, the pioneer, in 2024, and that will be when there will be a shift. And and as I have told people, that if you are serious about investing and making profits in crypto, this is the window between now and 2024. I'm sure, of course, people made profits and everything before this time, but in this current cycle, 2024, I feel, is like the cutoff date. I've also seen 2023 as well, as if you haven't really invested or aligned with crypto, Bitcoin, your coins as a way to wealth. If you haven't aligned with that, 2024, again, I think like you have to have aligned well before that. Like, so it's really around this time period, 2021, 2022. And we can even project further into 2022. And then 2020, next year is kind of a big year for the United States, and we can talk about that. But do you guys want me to continue? Do you have any questions to direct the conversation?
So do you see there's a big drop with the market, mostly BTC, from October, either October, November of this year into early next year?
Yes. So with this boost that's coming in the fall, starting in October, and then again, the date that I'm very, I think we should all have our eyes on, and that is an astrologer I'm very wary of, is November 19th, 2021. It's a full moon lunar eclipse. And guess what? It's the companion eclipse to that May 23rd date that I gave you, which is when we saw the drop, right? So it's the same signs that are being activated. It's the Scorpio. This time it's reversed to May 23rd, but it's still indicative of a and I think it's not just in crypto and Bitcoin. I think the regular economy is really going to take a hit from the 6 months. Crypto, though, there's going to be I have an exception with that, but the regular economic systems are going to be very challenged from November 19th, triggering it off, through May, the full moon in May, which I don't have in front of me right now, 2022. So it's Taurus Scorpio affects the markets, okay? And the fact we're having a lunar eclipse at the very end of Scorpio means that it's empowered, and it's going to bring everything. And as I have advised people using astrology, that you probably are the peak is probably come, or this particular high point will come a week or two before. So for your listeners, monitoring that time cycle, basically from when I would say from, you could even go as late as like October, like a month before, but no, probably from about, I'm getting the 26th of October. I'm trying to think. So two weeks, certainly 2 weeks before the 19th. And I'm remiss by not having my calendar, my astrological calendar. If you give me a moment, I'll grab it. But let me stay with this projection and prediction, is that so 2 weeks before the 19th, would take us to the 5th of November, which would be the new moon. And so that might be the peak day because that's the new moon in Scorpio. Okay. And that's, that's not being afflicted. That's sun and moon in Scorpio, and Scorpio is a wealth sign. So the fact we're going to have sun, moon, and several other planets there in Scorpio, that's probably a big ching, ching, ching date. And then afterwards, it might get dicey. So I would really be, people really need to be on top. And as I advise to people who ask me, it's really a good thing between now and November or late October to fine tune your own intuition. And again, I teach different, I have different processes and different techniques to help people hone their intuition, because now more than ever, the guidance from within is so important, not just with following the crypto markets, but navigating these times in general. So our own inner GPS that's not really affected as much, we can listen to various viewpoints, we can listen to input from all over, but really the most accurate barometer for each of us individually is going to be our own intuition. And I mean, it's a blessing that there are resources like SL's Patreon site for those who feel that, they want to hear from somebody who has, how shall we say, a good track record in predicting the crypto markets. I highly suggest that those are the tools or resources that people align with in the coming months, but really bring and getting readings from Jardin, astrology.com. But otherwise, it's really a process of everybody developing their own intuitive capacities to navigate these coming times. And, like the old Willie Nelson song, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right? Which means know when to hold on to your coins and when to cash yourself out. I think of that song, quite a bit. I'm not a big country music fan, but Willie Nelson was sort of a great soul in that movement. So know when to hold, know when to fold them. And SL, maybe you have something to say while I grab the astrology on my calendar.
Yes. So Lisa, earlier Jill said that we still have some down, like the market will still facing a little correction in August. My spirit guide told me a few days ago, I think a few days, maybe yesterday or something, that I forgot, that the market will go up and then down. So the market has a bounce. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Today it was spiked from, I think, 31,000 to 40,000. So that is like a bounce up and then down. But we haven't completely go. So how high Bitcoin will go in August? My spirit guide gave me a range between 42 and 47s. That's just a range. I don't know it will actually hit 47s, and then it will drop a little bit. So in the last video, or in June and May, I said that I got a vision where they told me Bitcoin will go down to either 27,000 and 25. We didn't hit that in June and July. The lowest we got to, the lowest that BTC dropped was 29.3K. Okay. So I don't feel that in August we would drop as low as like 20,000. I'm still trying to get confirmation from them to see in August, is it just a minor correction or big drops? So Jill, you said that in August we still have a little correction. Do you from astrologically, do you see it's a big drop or a small drop?
So interesting. The dates in August that we have to kind of look out for is when the Scorpio new moon, the new moon's on the 8th. That's going to bring something. This could be actually what you're talking about. It's fun. It's great to have the guides of SL and then coordinate it with the astrology. So there could be a little weird time around the 13th, and it's Friday the 13th, right? The 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. actually through to the 19th when Uranus goes retrograde. So there could be like this little downward, it may pick up between like the 8th and the 13th and then go down, but it won't go as far down as it was. Yeah, it's going to be like, it's kind of like I see those little jaggy lines, but I don't see, and then I see it coming up, up, up. But the might be a little weird around the 13th through the 19th. And then it will start rallying really nicely on the 20th, 21st, 22nd. When the moon actually does go into Aquarius, and the full moon is actually on the 22nd. But from the 20th, whatever was happening before, we'll start seeing. Is that what you guys call a correction?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I got to get my terminology right. And then I want to also go back about November. Just that the actual new moon that I'm saying we all have to keep our eyes open for, because this is going to be around the time when it's actually on the 4th of November, but it starts on the 3rd. So we're looking at the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of November being very key dates to keep an eye out. And because it seems that that's 2 weeks out from the lunar eclipse, and we may start seeing some erratic development, and then leading to the next downward cycle, which I think will go.
And when you're saying that, you mean in Bitcoin in general or globally in the world?
Both.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen, it's going to be a fear situation. There's going to be some, not that we don't have enough fear out there already, right?
I was going to say, yeah.
Going to be another fear mongering situation there in early November through the 19th, or the 19th could actually be the event when there's the fear mongering event. And, people are going to lose their, it will be something that shakes people up. So they'll freak out a little bit, I think. And, there's things that it goes without saying what it could be, what could be shaking people up, more situations of restricting of of business and people's activities. So it's kind of a similar situation to what we saw, but whatever. We'll talk about that on Lisa's show.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more tomorrow. I'm really excited to talk about a lot of that with you. We'll get into all of that. I know we want to stay with crypto today. There's a lot to talk about. This is really exciting because I know a few months ago, this is what Maya and SL was seeing, what we have seen and what we've been living through. SL's been right on about what we saw this summer, with it just being, up and down, very volatile this summer. But just kind of staying in this space, seeing it go to 64, back down to 30, and around 40, back down.
Yeah, and there's going to be, like, what I see now, I'm kind of getting a vision too, that SL is asking me if Bitcoin will go as high as 40K, 42, or 47 in August. Well, I'm not going to give a specific number because I don't work with the numbers like that. But what I will say is I see people celebrating. I see some form of celebration for the Bitcoin rise. And I think it's closer to that full moon around the 20th. But I see there is a reason to celebrate. And a lot of size, it's like I'm getting mixed emotions, like such a relief, like people almost like crying with relief, and like, yes, the reality of crypto and Bitcoin is not an illusion, as everybody's trying to tell us. It's real, and it's going to be such a big piece of future currency. We have to, celebrate. We will get an event that people who follow crypto and Bitcoin in August, that will be what I feel like, I can feel the emotion behind it already, will be celebratory in nature. So we all have that to look forward to.
Bring it on. We need some good news for sure.
Jill, can you check the chart for August 1st and August 2nd for BTC?
Okay. So yes, I can, because so Jupiter will be on the Venus of Bitcoin on August 1st and 2nd. Very nice. And let's see what else. The moon is going to be in Gemini that day. So the moon will be in its, oh, interesting. So we have a little karmic, it's a karmic day for our Bitcoin, August 1st and 2nd. With the moon, I think it's going to be, you know, a very, like there'll be some movement, okay? There could be a little movement up, a very little movement up. But like I said, the big celebrations and fireworks come later. It is a moon in Gemini, and it's in the 12th house of Bitcoin. So there's something that is almost like we haven't, there could be some indicators that, things are going to be, in a good way, things are turning around. Why do you ask that? Why do you ask specifically August 1st?
Astrologer on Twitter, I don't know, say Western or Eastern, but she use astrology, and plus she use another kind of system, so GAN, GANN. So she predicted that August 1st and August 2nd, there'll be a low, BTC will go down. So I just want to compare to see if you see anything in that in Western.
It's not, that's not the celebratory time I'm talking, but it's kind of it's another, like, very much going to be veiled. Let's put it that way. What happens on August 1st and 2nd is like still behind the veil. People aren't going to be able to see, because it's the 12th house of the Bitcoin chart. The moon will be there. And the other thing, though, we have, like, again, Jupiter is going to be on Venus of the Bitcoin chart. So this is what I think will be driving what will eventually show up as the correction. Jupiter will be, since July 28th, which is actually tomorrow, Jupiter's going back into Aquarius after being in Pisces, and will spend an extended time in Aquarius until January of next year. But in the meantime, it's going to be sitting. This is another indicator of Bitcoin's rallying, because Jupiter conjunct Venus. That's one of the most luckiest transits you can get in astrology for money and abundance. Even in a person's chart or in a company's chart, you want to take advantage of it. Only comes every 12 years, okay? And guess when it came before? In February. It was happening in the spring before the down cycle. Okay, so interesting. But Jupiter goes direct again. Let me give that date out. That date is I said it. Oh, I didn't give the Jupiter direct. Jupiter goes direct. I did not give you guys. This is an important. When Jupiter goes direct, give me a moment while I look through my astrology pages here. Jupiter goes direct on October 19th, okay? So we're getting, that's a month ahead of that eclipse. I knew that October 19th was important. That could be huge. That's a huge rally time. October 19th through November 19th is that interesting cycle. And October 19th is also around a full moon, it should be, because it's every 28 days, right? October 19th is around, there's a full moon on the 20th. So that should be a very interesting cycle. And that's when we're like really plugging into our intuition from the 19th of October on. And again, we see the not such good date as November 19th. So there's a month there of really getting, in tune in your own way.
So I had a dream. My birthday is October 21st, and I had a dream that we were like financially free. That was like our tipping point day on October 21st.
Oh, wow.
Well,
that's
there
really
you
really
plugged
exciting.
in there, Lisa.
Yeah.
Plugged in
That's
for sure.
exciting. So thanks for that confirmation. That makes me feel good.
Yeah. Speaking of Bitcoin, and we'll get to the other chart I have, Electra, in a moment, which is a very interesting chart. That was just, it's not even a year old, right? December 29, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about Bitcoin that is going to be really exciting for everybody next year, this is why I think the crypto is full, it comes through the last degrees of Capricorn, which is actually where Bitcoin's Jupiter is. It's just so interesting that this chart is incorporated with Jupiter in the very last degree of Capricorn, a sign of business, a sign of business that is accepted by the status quo. So we're going to see the beginning of this in I told you by 2024 it will be accepted. But the other crazy thing about 2022 is that it's also the Pluto return of the US chart. So the United States is going to go through some things economically for sure with Pluto return happening, which is 27 degrees, and that kicks in February. I mean, some people say, oh, it's been happening since 2017, but I just think that you ain't seen nothing yet. No, I think it's going to be very much affecting the economy and I'm not laughing about that. I'm just like, here's astrology again, kind of trotting along, giving us a prediction that probably will come true. So there could be some very big economically challenging cycles. But again, I think when the traditional markets are flailing and failing, this is when, who comes in but the new superhero, right? Steps in. And it's a Bitcoin like transformation time. And it's Bitcoin saying, here I am, everybody. Oh, by the way, you people over 50 who don't know what crypto is, you can now use it for Amazon. You can use it to buy this. You can use it to buy that. And this company has accepted it. So basically, I think 2022 is the beginning of, I thought it could be sooner, like this fall, and that's still a possibility. But 2022 will be the acceptance of Bitcoin as a valid currency and rate of exchange for companies, businesses, and
mass adoption.
Yeah.
Like that'll be the mass adoption year. That's awesome.
Or the beginning of it, because it goes back and forth for a couple of years.
Okay.
Interesting.
Then you said,
go ahead.
You have a chart for Electra protocol XEP.
Yeah, so you know what's so cool about this chart too? I don't know why so far these are both Capricornian companies. So again, there's that theme of trying, and Electra has 2 Aquarian. It was born, if you guys remember, that December 21st, 2020 was a huge date. It was called the Great Bifurcation, the Great Awakening. Saturn and Jupiter were conjunct in Aquarius, indicating the new paradigms coming in the coming years. Well, Electra was incarnated under that astrological signature. So that is a very good sign as a company, a business, a coin that is here to be a trend center and a pioneer in the crypto industry going forward. However, it did have a signature in its chart, which is a little bit of a bouncy start, okay? It's Capricornian times 3 to Aquarius. It was incarnated with Pluto, that planet of power, in Capricorn, right at the very top of its chart, which again would indicate acceptance by the status quo, but it does square its natal Mars in Aries. So I also indicate, that to me also says there might be some weird fighting within or changing of the guard within the power structure of this coin, like who runs it or how there may be some disagreements or squabbles on how, so that may delay it, and it probably will delay it until this Pluto square Mars is in its chart and it's active still until about 2023. So that in itself might give it a bit of a bumpy start. And I'm not familiar with its progress so far. I don't know, SL, if you want to step in and speak up about that.
Yeah, I have been asking for vision for this coin, but my spirit guide have not provided. So Lisa, you can pull up the chart. The ticker is XEP. Okay. The chart is like a wave, like ocean wave, go up and down, very volatile. It has no rhyme or rhythm. It's very volatile chart. It has been going down. If you pull up the chart, go like 1 year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a heartbeat. So I've been trying to ask. Sometimes my spirit guide don't provide a vision right away when the coin it's not ready for me to put money in there. So when, for example, there's a coin called Bao Finance. You know that coin, Lisa?
No.
Okay. Crypto viewing have a really high they speak highly of Bao Finance. In any case, I didn't know anything about finance until like one day they told me in my sleep, get Bao Finance. And then later on, they told me it go to like, I don't know, roughly $5-ish, almost $6. I was like, wow. Because Bao Finance was still really cheap. I think it's like 30 and 3. So when they told me you can get 1 million Bao for $300. Right now, you have to pay $800 for 1 million Bao Finance.
Is it BOA?
BAO.
BAO, sorry.
Yes. So my spirit guides sometimes they don't tell me the vision right away until like the time is right. Well, anyway, a few months ago, they told me to look into Bao Finance. This is like a DeFi exchange where you can stake it, you can farm it. People make a lot of they get a lot of free airdrop almost like hourly. My friend get like 300,000 Bao in, I don't know, crazy time, probably in a few weeks. So in any case, this exchange will be really important one day. And for this coin, I asked them for months. They didn't give it to me until a few months ago. They provide to me. Electra, I've been asking about for the past 2 months. They didn't give it to me because they probably think that it's too early to invest. I feel the same way because when I looked at the chart, I was not attracted to the chart at all. It's like
too volatile.
Very volatile and
Yeah.
has no rhythm. You cannot really gauge where it's going next.
The other weird thing I got to say about Electra, and I do have some advice on when it might be a good time to invest in it, actually, because there is going to be a pivotal thing in the chart. First of all, it was born on a full moon. So that's kind of a weird signature to have. You basically want to birth all those crypto people. You want to birth a crypto coin on a new moon, not the full moon. But because right there, that gives a polarity in the chart, like two different sides, and then it already has that square. But like so the Pluto in the Electra chart is 24 degrees. Capricorn, it does square the Mars, but Pluto's going to go direct at that degree on October 6th. So I would say it could be very kind of, it could be a very good time because it's at a peak and it's at its power on the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th of October when Pluto goes direct right at that degree. That's like a power point. So a power juncture. So it goes direct on the 6th. So I'd look at the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th to invest and see where it's at that point, or even wait, give it a couple days after the 6th to see what happens when that Pluto goes direct in the chart, because it was born with a direct Pluto. So it would be like, oh, yay, it's coming back to itself. It's getting a fresh birth. So check that out, SL, sometime from October 6th through, let's say, the 12th or 13th. That could be a very, yeah. So
then probably the last coin that we have time for is Matic. You said that you have some good vision about or
yeah. So didn't that have another name too called Polygon?
Yes.
Matic?
Yes.
Okay. So psychically that one seems to jump out a lot. And I feel, even that one even talks to me and says, I haven't yet come into my time. Like that one has and I don't know if you guys know anything about the background, if we could ever find that chart, but just energetically and even the visual of what their little icon is, what their little logo is, even that is something that's very interesting and almost like reminds me of sacred geometry. Let me see. Yeah.
That infinity symbol. The
yes.
little purple infinity symbol.
Yeah. And it's violet, the violet flame. Mm-hmm. So that, and it's funny that they changed the name too, but it works with two names. So that means, I don't know, I just feel energetically that it is going to be one of those horses who's in the back who starts pulling up to the front. Like that's how I describe the cryptocurrency coins. It's like we've got the front runners like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and and then there's the sorted ones that are running in the back of the horse race. But then all of a sudden we get somebody who starts breaking ahead, and people are like, "Whoa, the dark horse!" I mean, I don't think it's fully a dark horse, that it's not expected, but there is going to. I think people should definitely keep an eye on that. I just energetically some of these, like you remember Shiba, I was all about Shiba, but Polygon, energetically Matic, I think is going to be one of these courses that comes from behind and almost like surprise people. And we'll have to definitely try and get that chart.
Well, I
Oh,
think
yes.
that's Polygon or Matic. There's a lot of news. On Mondays, I do my crypto news show, and there seems to be, these waves or trends in cryptocurrency. It was NFTs for a while and DeFi for a while, and now there's all this noise about cross chain. And I could see where Polygon or Matic solves a lot of problems for Ethereum, and so I could see
There you
that being
go.
part of that cross chain solution or
Yep.
steps in that. So I think that could be part of that. Really
Yeah,
exciting.
and it probably, just because there's going to be an energetic boost for most cryptos, like I said, in September, October, it probably is going to ride that wave and maybe even surpass some that are, considered ahead of it in the race, so to speak.
Mm.
Yeah. So I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to be on your show, SL. And again, my thanks to all your listeners who have had readings with me. They can go on my website and get one. The rates are there as on the website for readings, JillJardinAstrology.com. But it's been very enjoyable to connect with these conscious people all over the world. So thank you so much. And Lisa, thank you so much for your
Absolutely.
contribution.
Yeah, I look forward to having you on the show. And I'll be sure to put everyone's links in the description so you guys can connect with Jill Jardin, and also go find SL's Patreon. And there's still a few memberships there available. I'm hearing those are few and far between. So you guys check those out as well. And we'll have more information for everyone soon. We'll be back again.
And actually, not to interrupt, Lisa, I just want to get this in under the wire. We have some exciting, you guys are going to be on my podcast, Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardin. We're actually going to tape it on the Thursday, the 29th, but it will be released the following week. So everybody needs, and it will probably be a two-parter because I know you guys have a lot to share. So that will be exciting. Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardin. Check it out next week when we release probably part 1 of the cryptocurrency show with Lisa and SL. Thank you.
I'm excited, so can't wait to talk about it. So, yeah, we will invite you back, Jill, because there are so many altcoin coins that my
so many questions.
Submit.
Yeah, all we need to do is find the charts of these different coins, and they start just telling me their story. So I mean, that's for, and then SL, you throw in the guides information, and there we go. If we find it's a win-win, we go for it.
Yeah, let's do this again.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, ladies, so much. And thank you, everybody, for watching. If you're watching this on Patreon, don't share this. This is information for you. We will be sharing it publicly later, but you guys are special to us, and we appreciate all your support. So keep this to yourself first, and then we'll share it publicly later. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much.